Only 28% of Americans says that the president inspires confidence.
I don't think he's going to pull his shoe.
That was my phone.
What's up, guys? Boy Benny. All's fair in love and war, they say. And I guess we are in war right now, so I guess everything is fair. The corporate media is turning and backstabbing Joe Biden, and it is so breathtakingly savage. And I can't believe I have to say this, but because I ripped CNN so hard and their biased moderators before the debate, I gotta say, they didn't interject, they didn't interrupt that much. There wasn't a bunch of like nasally whimpering and fact checking. It was kind of nice to just see both candidates as they are, right? And you did see Donald Trump locked and loaded, and you did see Joe Biden having a dementia level aneurysm on the stage. And that's what the American people saw. And so now the corporate media, CNN, namely, saying the facts that there is a devastating polling result that is happening because of Joe Biden's performance on stage. CNN just came out with their numbers saying 50 million people watched live on CNN and 30 million people watched digitally. So you're looking at a third of the country, arguably, a third of the country watching. You know, there's only like 120 million people that ever vote in these elections. That's actually a huge, most voters, I guess you could argue, watched this debate. Like the people that actually show up watch this debate. This is like you get like 30% engagement with voters in this country, and you got 330 million people in the country. So simple math says that every voter watched this debate, and now the results are completely and totally devastating. Look at these headlines. This is so bad. CNN data reporter admits he's never seen worse numbers for an incumbent president. These numbers are so bad already. And the truth is, they've just gotten considerably worse. CNN's Entin, who, again, as I have said on this channel, is my favorite data reporter in the industry. I have never seen numbers this bad for an incumbent president during my lifetime. I mean, I guess the silver lining there for Joe Biden is Harry Entin doesn't seem very old. Can't be any older than me. But nonetheless, here is the savagery from CNN.
We're joined now by CNN senior data reporter Harry Entin. He was here to run the numbers. So, Harry, do we have new poll numbers for President Biden post-debate?
We do. You know, CBS News YouGov conducted some polling post-debate. We can compare it to the pre-debate numbers. And the bottom line, Al, it's not any good. It's not any good. Look at this. Voters who say that Biden has the mental health to be president. It was just 35% pre-debate. Look where it's dropped to now post-debate, 27%. How about that he should be running for president? It was 37% pre-debate. It's now 28%. I have never seen numbers this bad for an incumbent president during my lifetime. I mean, that mental health to be president, just 27%. You might say, okay, you know, that's low, but a lot of people thought Biden was too old back in 2020. These numbers look nothing like this back in 2020. These numbers were bad already, and the truth is, Allison, they have gotten just considerably worse, even in just a few days after that first presidential debate.
Harry, do we have polling yet that suggests that voters want a different candidate?
Yeah, this is the whole question, right? If it's not President Biden, then who could it be on the Democratic side? And the truth is, there are no easy answers. You know, I went back and looked at the polling versus Donald Trump for a bunch of different Democrats have been suggested. Gretchen Whitmer, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris. Look at this. They all trail Donald Trump. So the idea here that we're somehow going to get this magic bullet, that there's somehow going to be some Democrat who can beat Donald Trump easily, I just don't see it in the numbers. At this particular point, if Joe Biden takes on Donald Trump, he's trailing. If there's another Democrat who runs against Donald Trump, they too are trailing. Perhaps you want to make the argument you bring in another Democrat who isn't as well known as Joe Biden, who has universal name recognition, and maybe they could change the numbers. But the fact is, any Democrat who entered the race right now, at least among those that are being suggested by a bunch of folks, they would all enter the race at this particular point as an underdog to former President Donald Trump.
But, Harry, are those numbers old numbers or are those since the debate? I mean, maybe the conversation has changed.
Yeah, those are not numbers that have been taken since the debate, though I was looking at numbers that were post-debate. This takes into account an average, a long-term average, right? Because the key is I don't just want to rely upon one polling number. But even the limited polling data that we have post-debate suggests that none of those candidates on your screen, Gretchen Whitmer, Gavin Newsom, or Kamala Harris, any of those would be favored over Donald Trump. He leads against all of them, whether you look at the pre-debate numbers or the post-debate numbers. And, of course, I like to look at an aggregate of numbers, so that's what I did. But the fact is, even if you just did post-debate, it really wouldn't look any different.
So, yeah, it is not pretty. Everybody is sharing that clip, including the Trump campaign, and saying, how do you recover from this? I don't know. How do you recover? The Biden family held an emergency meeting this weekend, and that emergency resulted in Jill Biden continuing to push her diseased husband and use his corpse for power. That's become quite clear that Jill Biden is the evil Lady Macbeth behind all of this, and she is riding that Biden name to ruin right now, along with Hunter Biden, who pushed, obviously, for Pops to stay in because pardon power is going to be really, really important for Joe Biden. So there are two pieces of media that I just can't get out of my head when it comes to this debate. The first is how Joe Biden treated Joe Biden after that performance. She treated him like a toddler who was potty trained.
You did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Lied! Yes.
Look at that face. Oh, man. That is the Democrat Party, really summed up in one image. A screeching, angry, miserable, unhappy, unloved witch from the suburb who is obviously off her meds, and just like a eunuch man standing behind her with his mouth open. That is the image of the modern Democrat Party. The image of the modern Republican Party is one of strength. Donald Trump exhibited great strength on the debate stage and exhibited extreme alpha Chad energy. Many people say that this is a Photoshop. Okay? Now, I've heard people say that it is a Photoshop. I don't know. I haven't been able to put my fact-checking team on it just yet. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is the some say it's, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check, okay? But I know that this is a real photo of Joe Biden, all right? I know that this is a real photo of Joe Biden, and this is Donald Trump. And these are the two different energies. And this is why you see the polling numbers the way that they are. Ultimately, Donald Trump didn't even need to say a single word during this debate. And his single ad, Donald Trump has released one ad based on this debate so far. I hope it runs on every TV across the country from now until, well, November 5th. One ad without Donald Trump saying a single word. All it was Joe Biden. Ladies and gentlemen, this is devastating. This is apparently the guy in charge of the country. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I want this guy in charge of the country, not this.
Both sides. Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare, we're trying to provide housing for Black Americans. The impact on the choice, the idea that they're gonna. I've been proposing that everybody the millionaires pay 1%. So no one I've not raised the cost of Social Security for anybody. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. And wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it stopped. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.